287, a record total that Sunrisers Hyderabad managed. The record total in all of T20 franchise cricket on what is a day that can be best described as a run fest. And even though at mid innings it seemed like that there's going to be only one winner, it did prove to be that there was only one team that was predicted to win, ended up winning. But you'd also have to give a big shout out to how the opposition in RCB performed, especially the RCB batting did come close. And while the victory margin may now look small at just 25, but 25 in a T20 game is
it's comprehensive.
It's comprehensive.
This is just a case of blind hitting, and I'm taking nothing away from the hitting, to ensure the margin of loss was not a big one. Full credit. But a loss is a loss, and at this point with RCB, there's serious doubts over where exactly the team are going, because they're in the halfway stage, by the way. 7 games played for RCB, 6 losses, which means they have to win every single one of their next 7 games to be having any contention, be in any contention for the playoffs.
But even then, they'll be 4th or at best 3rd.
I mean, 3rd, 4th is fine. At least you're qualifying.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they'll be scratching then even to get to the 4th spot, because that would only take them to, they get 7 games left, right?
16 points.
Yeah.
No, but
16 is...
No, 16
it's comfortable.
We've seen
14's minimum.
We've seen that 16 has also helped teams finish in the top 2. I mean, mathematically. But there have also been times where teams have qualified with 14 also in the top 4. So, not getting into the math of it, because that is complicated. That depends on a lot of other results. If there are a few teams, in that order fighting for that spot, and multiple teams finish around 12, 14, then there is a chance teams qualify with 14. But there is also a chance sometimes teams may not qualify with 16 either. So all of that, put into perspective, I think it's reached a stage where from now on RCB will have no option but to win all games, and even then not 100% guaranteed.
Especially considering their net run rate, it's terrible. It is in the minus 1.1s before this game. It will only get worse after this loss.
Yeah, but we'll cross that bridge once you get to it. That's far away for RCB. In fact, the way that they've been playing this season doesn't seem like that they'll be a team that will even come into contention. There have been times where you've spoken about teams that can fight back. Mumbai Indians is a team that comes to your mind, but they kept showing flashes of brilliance. That's not what has happened with RCB, and which is why even if you were to ask like the biggest RCB supporter, even he would not carry any hope of the team qualifying. And lest we forget, we are also going to tell you what their next coming up games are going to be. Yeah. What are the next 2 games?
I just hope at the presentation ceremony there is a consolation prize for the host today, because you've got to give it to them for putting up a fight. At least there was a fight. They went down to the last ball. Yes, 25 runs is good enough margin, but with the bat, at least the batter stepped up.
But what will be a prize for losing?
Whatever, that's what I'm saying, consolation prize. It doesn't count for much, but to recognize the effort of the batters. Finally, the big names, the famed batting that they think that they have, did step up in whatever manner that it could.
But in a no pressure situation, there was a lost game.
Whatever it is, to be able to put on those many runs as well, at times, you need to put together a couple of their innings to add up to this total.
Sure, but that's an internal thing. Presentation, what can you give a prize? For
consolation.
No. I mean, you can, of course, for maybe for the internal talk, or team building, or maybe analysis, or what is it that they need to do going forward. Maybe this could be a case in point where they discuss internally. So look how DK took on the attack. Look how our openers played. Look how everyone else did. Maybe this is the template that we need to follow. So trust in the batters. Maybe they look at the positives of, okay, we dropped Maxwell, but our rest of the batters are firing. Whatever. But those are only internal things. There can't be any
prize for this.
And especially, by the way, you have to see the game in totality. You also have to see at the end of the day when the game has gotten over, this is the day where you have become the franchise in the history to have conceded most run in the history of T20 franchise cricket. Can't be a day that you're celebrating or get any sort of consolation. Yes, maybe a Dinesh Karthik could go as a happy
I'm not saying
man,
it calls for a celebration, some sense of acknowledgement.
No, but no, I don't think there should be. What should there be an acknowledgement for?
If there
for
is,
you doing the job, this is what the batting lineup has to do.
That we can do. We can put on 250. This is our home. Batting first. This is what we learned. That we've got the prowess. We've got the ability. 250 runs is also something we can look at. Is this just about like Shane said earlier, because it was a lost cause, or the minds were free. Why can we not replicate the same sort of mindset when we are batting first the next time that we come to the stadium? That's probably a takeaway that they can have.
Yeah, but I said that, but that is only for the internal talk. Huh? Can't
So if at all, because see, at the end of the day, no matter how bad a day you have, you're looking for silver lining. If there is, I know it doesn't count for much. It's a very, very thin, wafer thin silver lining. If there is one, but that can be it, if at all there is one.
If you're an RCB fan, are you happy today, or you looking?
No, you won't be happy at all. You won't be happy at all.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that maybe for internal discussions, for game plan and going forward, that they can look at. But see, what this is a lesson, and which is what we pointed out. What this is a lesson now is for the RCB team to realize where they faltered. See, we know that at the Chinnaswamy, 20, 30, 40 can be chased, right? Maybe it seems 260. Maybe if they had 260 may not have been able to be chased, because remember the pressure also comes. But I'm assuming that a good batting performance like RCB showed today, maybe a 240, 50 could have been chased. Where did you falter? If you're not going to blame the batters, let's say that they put their best foot forward. Where did you falter? Right at the time when you made the team sheet. Why? Because you decided, that's why I say, because you decided to play only 4 bowlers on a ground which is going to be a graveyard for bowlers. You took that call, so you allowed them to get this record total. No, this 30 runs less. I know that on a pitch like this, bowlers are like lambs to slaughter. Everyone would have been being hit. But a good bowler, I'll tell you why I say that. See the difference. If today, if you reverse the situation, just take a look at their bowling card of Sunrisers Hyderabad, okay? And where is the difference? Who is that one bowler that makes a difference? When Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis are going all guns blazing, just in 6 overs they've got 80 runs, no wicket loss, and you're thinking, come on, the unthinkable can happen if they click on. Who's the guy who gets you the breakthrough? The impact sub. The impact sub in Mayank Markande gets you the breakthrough. The impact sub in a Mayank Markande today has bowled 4 overs, picked up 2 wickets. What that allowed, and if you take a look at the bowling card of Sunrisers Hyderabad, they have played with 7 bowlers today, right? And 7 decent bowlers at that, not part-timer. If okay, I'm saying to an extent, even if you take Abhishek Sharma as a part-timer, but Shahbaz is not a part-timer, everyone else.
So it's 5 plus 1, rather 5 plus 2.
6. Shahbaz is a proper bowler. So only one that is a part-timer is Abhishek Sharma. Right. So you have played 6 plus 1.
So and it was 4 plus 1 over there.
6 plus 1 is what you have played with in terms of Sunrisers Hyderabad. Why that has helped you today? Because today, let's say Jaydev Unadkat did not have a good day. Jaydev Unadkat was going almost 20 and over. Correct. Got hammered. But what did this bowling lineup allow you? Because you had a few part-timers and you had 6 proper bowlers and you got an impact sub in a Mayank Markande, you could utilize their over here and there, in which case Shahbaz and Abhishek do those 2 overs and you've covered up. You could have covered up even more if you wanted to, in case of giving maybe more overs to Abhishek, who could have just bowled that 1 over, giving away 10 runs, which on this pitch seems like gold dust, right?
It is.
So you could have done that. And if RCB need any learning, they just need to look at that bowling scorecard. If RCB had played since that impact rule has come, every team, before impact, I would still remember teams playing 5 bowlers. You could not afford the luxury of having the 6 bowler sometime. Your 6 bowler used to be a part-timer, but you went with 5 proper bowlers, so on a given day you just bowled with 5 bowlers and it was fine. As soon as the impact rule came in, you were allowed that luxury to bring in that extra bowler. So every team played 6 proper bowlers and a couple of part-timers. Some even played 7 proper bowlers. Some have played 8 proper bowlers. on a graveyard like this, why won't you do it? You
I think
play
RCB forgot that the impact player rule was applicable to this game as well.
They
Because it doesn't
utilized it.
explain otherwise why
They
you would name that 11.
They utilized it later. The impact player.
It didn't matter.
They
Their
forgot
11
it.
itself was flawed. The impact player was not saving it. This isn't football where you get 3 or 5 substitutions. Maybe then they would have been able to save this. But because the playing 11 in itself was flawed, you were fighting a losing battle. Again, we go back to the pre-match and it kind of gives you that feeling, right? You've gone for an exam. You've done some preparation. You're nervous. But you're also trying to psych yourself out saying, you know what? Won't be so bad. But then you see the question paper and you're like, nah, this ain't it. That was what it felt when I saw that team sheet. Like, that isn't it. Your entire thing is flawed, and I know that people are going to go gaga over the batting on show, which is great. You had a good knock from a Faf, you had a good knock from a Virat. DK was absolutely turning back the clock, but again, there were pressureless runs. No matter how much, if DK had hit 2 extra 4s or 6s in the middle overs, I don't think it would have gotten them all that close. I don't. That's the thing. These are pressureless runs. There's great runs, but they're pressureless runs. You were not winning it. It was a no-win situation. Let's go out there and give the fans a show. The home fans, who by the way deserve way better than this sort of this thing, clutching at straws or clutching at pearls in saying that yeah, we lost, but at least we got a good DK show. I'm sorry. I think that is also readjusting your expectations after years of failure. And actually, if you look at it, if I'm a fan, I would be asking very angry questions about the team management that is put in place. Like, listen, boss, what it is that you're doing? How is it that any common cricket fan, and I'm not talking about us, I mean anyone on social media can see that this is a poorly constructed, not just playing 11, but a squad. There is no construction to the squad. And if you wanted a point wherein you thought, okay, our pace bowling is weak and we need to be playing 2 pace bowlers, then why the hell did you agree to trade Cameron Green? It just puts a 17 crore, burns a 17 crore hole in your pocket. Which at that point also I remember thinking the only ones who will be happy with this deal are the Mumbai Indians, because it gives them the wiggle room to bring back Hardik Pandya. I was right. I mean, it just boggles all sort of sensibility.
Since you talk about the team management, I want to show and it's very rare that you get to see such an opinion. And so there is a tweet by Mahesh Bhupathi, and I'd want you to show that if Shivam can bring that tweet out. Why I say it's rare to see, because people will talk about good things, bad things, but not as direct as he is. And see, Mahesh Bhupathi in his own right, sportsman of repute for India, right? Multiple Grand Slam winner. And why his tweet becomes important, because at the core he is a man from Bangalore.
Yeah, he's
right?
right. Yeah.
Correct. So he comes from that city. At his core, he is a fan of the franchise, right? And why I'm taking this tweet is because this is a man of repute, and he as a fan, and by the way, is also a sports person. So understands what goes into making sports and how to run a franchise. Remember, he's also the one of the founders of that tennis franchise league. Yeah. Can we show this to our viewers full frame? So this is what Mahesh Bhupathi has put out as a sports person, as a resident of the city of Bangalore, even though he shuttles between Dubai and Bangalore, I know that, and as a fan of the franchise. He says, for the sake of the sport, the IPL, the fans, and even the players. Now listen, he's also included the players there. Huh? That's very interesting. I'll get to that. And even the players, I think BCCI needs to enforce the sale of RCB to a new owner who will care to build a sports franchise the way most of the other teams have done so. And then he puts a hashtag called tragic. And he is actually echoing the sentiment of any Bangalore fan, any RCB fan that there is, right? So he says this is tragic, and he says the only way that you can save this team is by ensuring that this team is sold, because the current owners, that is owned by the Diageo group, if I'm not mistaken, which was at one point bought by Vijay Mallya, but then Vijay Mallya now no more owns Diageo, so it's now gone to the hands of the company runs the show, and he says that it should be forced, and he's speaking like a fan. What do you make of this suggestion? Is this the only way RCB can be saved?
I mean, see, I don't think the BCCI can enforce a sale unless there is some,
irregularity or anything like that.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
but I get his sentiment. I mean, I too would be frustrated if I saw a team be mismanaged to this degree whilst retaining a very, very loyal, passionate core fan base. I mean, and that's true for any team. I feel the same way sometimes even about the Punjab Kings. I genuinely do, because again, more often than not, there is no head, tail or anything of the sort when it comes to team building.
And interestingly for Punjab, people who've played for that team have said it. I don't know, there is an Instagram chat that I did with Yuvraj Singh many years ago, and in that I asked him what is that one franchise, because he spent time with a lot of franchises, like, what is that one franchise that you don't remember your time very fondly with, and he said Kings 11 Punjab, which was Kings 11 Punjab at the time. He said, and I asked him why. He said because nobody has any clue of what the franchise wants to do, and because everyone is pulling in different directions and they have multiple owners and all of that, so if you are as a player you don't know which way to go, right? So that is something that he had mentioned. We don't know that about RCB anyway. Harshit.
Don't quite think this is the way to go forward. Also, the other teams, see, this is part and parcel of any franchise-based league out there. There are clubs and teams who manage to put a fine team together, and there are setups that struggle for decades and decades. And whenever there's an ownership change as well, things often don't go well. So, not always the right approach. Let's say, citing a football example, let's say there's all the money that's been pumped in by the new Chelsea owners, but did that really solve the problem? No, cash flow was never an issue with the previous regime as well.
Cash flow would be an issue.
I'm saying that's just one facet of it. Just one facet of it that a new ownership brings. I know cash flow isn't an issue at hand as far as the IPL is concerned. Who knows if it is one going in the future? But for now, it's not.
No,
but
at least with this franchise,
yes. But given the way that the system is right now, I don't think it really is the solution right now.
No, I'm saying feasibility of it is a different thing. As Shane says, I mean, practically this cannot be done. But is the larger point that he's making? Maybe there is no enforced say. The larger point that he's making, the problem lies with the management. Is that
spot on?
Absolutely. I'm not too sure, because again there isn't all those attachments over here, let's say with regards to owners being, because we're not told or it's not reported that the owners are really causing a problem over here, or they're intervening too much, or they're not intervening. I think it's the think tank, it's the backroom staff that is to be blamed over here.
Management. That is also
not but it's management and ownership. That's two different things.
No, that's what. But what he's saying is that then if most franchises, what is the point of them existing? They exist to win or succeed.
Yeah.
If owners are happy cashing the checks, then that is also a negligent owner, because they're not really doing anything to win.
Is that a problem with RCB though? I'll tell you why. See, no. I mean to give them credit. See, what is it that the owners and in that sense can do, right? One is to ensure that there is a strong brand. They can make a brand that's
done.
Hands, right?
That's done.
So yeah, I'm just going step by step. So one that they do is ensure that it's a strong brand. That is something that they've done. Two is something that they ensure that there is a very big fan following. That is also in their hands, which is done. Three, that they ensure that it has nowadays, it used to never be there earlier, but now in terms of social media and all other things,
the presence,
it's very well liked and managed and goes viral, and those things which were never there earlier, that's done, which also RCB does. So those are all things that the owners can do, right, which is a tick box in most cases. The other is, as owners, you need to keep the players happy, right? The collection of talent that you've got, you need to keep them happy. That's the fourth factor. In that also, I've never heard an RCB player in that sense ever complain. So most players that have played for RCB have also said, yes, we like it. We love to be part of this franchise. I think the biggest example is Virat Kohli and all the other. So in terms of owners, because he only talks about owners, I think that the owners have made everything available. You talk about the management, which is the backroom staff. Now my point is, backroom staff has also kept changing over the years, right? Why is it that things are not improving? Now the other thing is it also, people, it's not always a coach. Maybe what explains, now the owners cannot, what explains that a certain player, and we've seen so many examples, that a certain player who is playing for RCB, bowlers in particular, have always underperformed. How is it that the same people, when they go to other franchises, end up performing better. Is the problem then with the captaincy that you've had over the years? Multiple captains, I agree. Is that been an issue that they've not been able to bring the best? Is it then the combination of coach and captain? Is it then that's why I say, is it then the environment that is created by the owners where maybe sometimes coaches and captains don't have the free hand? I don't know. But there is something, right, which is consistently not working. And whether a ownership change will make that difference, I don't know.
Don't quite think the ownership change would really make a difference. I understand Mahesh Bhupathi's sentiment, and he sounds like an aggrieved fan right now, as he should. That's exactly what we said at the halfway stage, that this is not what a loyal and vocal fan base, as proud a fan base as RCB have, deserve their team to be performing that the way that they are or have been for nearly 2 decades now. But ownership change, I don't think that solves. The other thing
what solves the issue?
The other thing I think you could hold RCB guilty, and I don't know if this is something that because of what's happened, let's say over the last few auctions, if this is something that doesn't really call for a good atmosphere inside the team, or in the dressing room, the fact that match winners like a Yuzvendra Chahal gets abandoned by the franchise, a match winner like a Vanindu Hasaranga gets abandoned by the franchise. Indian players, do they feel that this is a franchise that's going to be considering me one of their own? Do I get that sort of a feeling from the franchise?
Ownership is an issue.
So that's when, because you ask anyone, you talk about personalities that define a franchise. What comes to your mind? What are the 2 names or the 3 names that you associate with when it comes to RCB? You talk about ABD, you talk about Virat Kohli, you talk about Chris Gayle. There isn't, and for the 4th name, we'll all be sort of, thinking or taking an extra 2 seconds. There aren't any Indians apart from an extraordinary, brilliant Virat Kohli out there. So, and given the treatment that was meted out to Yuzvendra Chahal.
The owners are a problem, no?
But that also, again, baby.
Yeah, you yourself are pointing out, which is a valid
But
thing.
I won't say owners that much, because
Who else
because it's a sword that then cuts both ways. At times, the owners have been found guilty of over intervening, but not intervening much is always looked at a more likable or a much more wanted scenario.
But not necessarily, because again, see, for every CSK wherein they have the right cricket people in place and they just kind of let them run things, there are franchises who tend to be a little over involved, or franchise owners, and they're over involved because at the end of the day.
But is that the case here? Do you think they're over?
I think it's the opposite.
Which is good. I'll take you back to what Shah Rukh Khan says about his franchise, and this is something that's out there. Shah Rukh Khan says that I never talked cricket with Gautam Gambhir, or did when he was the man in charge. He's like, because I would hate it if Gautam Gambhir, being a cricketer, was to give me acting lessons. Likewise, I don't talk cricket with him or even bring cricket up remotely, because he's the man, he knows his thing. I can't intervene at all.
This is a problem, right?
I think think tank, again, it is the think tank.
So that would include the top players, the captain, the coach.
Absolutely, and I think that
they've kept changing, but the problem is persistent.
Because you see, all of the on-field troubles are not anything that come across as a surprise. In this very room 3 months back, we said that this is a team that is doomed because they lost it at the auction.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They've changed.
So
coaches,
they are more
captains.
than on the field. They are losing the IPL season after season at the auction.
No,
for them,
someone has to be responsible. But you kept changing. No, that management also. The captains have kept changing. The coaches have kept changing. The batting coaches have
Actually, captains haven't changed that much. For years, they had Kohli.
Yeah, yes, and then there's Faf.
And now there's Faf. But the things
and now it's going to be another change. Now there's going to be another change. I don't think Faf's getting retained. He's not getting any younger. Runs, yes, there were some runs on offer today, but otherwise.
Next auction is a big auction. We'll go shopping for it.
But again, you see, it is again a churn then.
Well, that too they'll have to.
There is again a churn.
The team that's beaten you, the ones who keep changing captain, they've got a new captain. No, it's working out fine. And so RCB wouldn't mind.
And also, for a next. I think, see, you're right in the sense that I think the ownership is a little laid back. But I think the other problem is that they're a little too laid back. They don't, or when they are meant to be ruthless, or where they are meant to be ruthless, they're not. In the sense that they still can't see why it is that they've not been able to build a coherent team. Nikhil mentions the changing of the backroom staff. That is one of the problems. If you don't have a good system in place, then you're not going to be having any kind of success. Look at the best run IPL teams. They all have a good system in place, and the personnel may change, but the system stays the same, which ensures that it keeps plugging on. With RCB, I, for the life of me, cannot name who's their head coach, who's their director of cricket, who's their bowling coach, who's their batting coach, who's their fielding coach, who's their mentor, because the backroom staff just keeps changing.
But I tell you what the problem.
But for the longest time, Mike Hessen was there, and I think they were doing. I think 2 seasons they did qualify to the playoffs.
No, but so did Delhi, But we criticized that there was a problem. See, qualifying and all. See, teams want to win, and even when you're looking good, you're not one. Even with the Hessen in charge, I think the issue there is that you're talking about the team management, taking a back step and being okay with it. See, that's all right, but at certain point, the team, and that's the problem with RCB. At certain point, the team management need to put their, or the team owners rather, need to put their foot down and question the management. What has really happened is that you have been switching around the coaches, right? They've had to take the blame. But I think you need to really also ask of senior players, whether they are captains, senior players, when things are not happening, people who are chipping in with auction strategies, right? So you've had people who've, I'll give an example of the SRH team. Because you gave Kolkata example, fine. Shah Rukh Khan does not involve himself, but he's got a team, management team, not the coaches and all, management team at CEO level and all that.
Venki Mysore
who take a big step. They let go of a Saurav Ganguly. Why? Against the entire, they took on the entire city, but they said, no, done, boss, results are not happening, we need to go forward, you're done, right? So I'm saying a harsh call. I'm giving an example of the successful team that there is. 2 more examples. Mumbai Indians, like it or not, took a harsh step. Took it earlier. Ricky Ponting was let go because results are not happening. Rohit was made. They've taken another call. Whether it's right or wrong is another thing. But I'm saying these are teams where I'm just talking at the ownership level. You can be nice. You can make a family. But at the end of the day, if they feel, year by year things are not working out, you're not just going to allow it because it's all good relationship, nice, everything. Let it just carry on. No, we'll have to take a call as to changing that. Chennai Super Kings. That moment that they put Jadeja is, total CSK DNA. But it did not work out. Thank you very much. We will go back to MS Dhoni. My point is, maybe this is the issue with RCB ownership, because they've tried to do all things which are nice, and because it's now no more owned. See, I think the RCB, if it was owned, let's say at a Vijay Mallya level, even he made a lot of mistakes, right? But the decision could be taken. Whereas he still remained an owner, a powerful owner at that. Things didn't work out.
Gone.
You could, Now, with no owner as such and a company owning it, and let's say CEOs also there will keep going through a churn, somebody will come. They'll be there for a brief while. They also don't want to upset an apple cart. They will not upset a big name, a big player, or players that may have suggested. They could be 2-3 players. There could be a Faf, it could be a Virat, it could be whatever, who must have chipped in, right? And it's happened for multiple seasons where you've heard at the thing. Maybe some other franchise would have said, boss, this is not happening. No more, that top level management with you. We're not going to, you could be there as a player or whatever, but I'm changing it. I'm getting XYZ as a captain or whatever. Maybe that's what probably happened. But in Virat's case, he gave up that captaincy and Faf came. Whatever, however that may have happened, maybe they wanted it. Still not working. Somewhere you have to sit and say, boss, this is not working. This think tank, whoever is the think tank who's getting up, because coaches have changed quite often, right? It's not improving. I think that's the problem with the ownership. They are, allowing the players to run the show. And while they have run the show, unfortunately, things have not improved at RCB. And they've faltered in retaining players, in auction strategy, whatever. So you need to make a change. You can have your players for performance, but that think tank of people who take a call, cricketing call, whether they are star players, whether they're a coach, they need to be changed.
And also one of the other things is when you're owned by a company and not an individual or a big name individual as such, the companies will look at things from a very detached point of view.
Exactly.
What they'll do is they'll look at it from a balance sheet perspective, because it's an asset that got passed on to them. And I'm talking purely in very business terms. This is a money spinning asset that got passed on to the board of directors. They'll look at the bottom line numbers and say, listen, IPL, the numbers as far as, viewership are jumping up, which means that every year the BCCI is flogging the media rights. The prices keep going up. When those prices go up, the cut of the pie that RCB and every other franchise receives also goes up. It's making them money. what really is the need for them to do that? Unfortunately, sports teams don't run like that. Sports teams, yes, the business side of it is very important, but they exist primarily, first and foremost, as an let's say an entity to win, and also as something that brings together a community. They've done the bringing together a community part well. I mean, I'll have to commend RCB. They have, they're one of those teams that have an pan-country fan base, despite having won nothing, which is saying something. It really is saying something that you managed to make that connection. But beyond that, what? After how long? The well will dry out after a point. The Kohli fans will go away after a point. The AB fans, a lot of them, I know a lot of people who would follow them just for an AB, just for a Chris Gale. There's no AB anymore. There's no Chris Gale anymore. There's only a Kohli. You're hanging on to that by a thread. Where is... And okay, here's the thing. No one is asking that RCB be winning the title every year. But you can do your best and fail. Right now, they're not even doing their best. Because the players who are there, unfortunately, are on hiding to nothing. Because it's a cobbled together bunch of players you put together just to complete a franchise. There's no head, tail, planning, nothing. What was the one thing we kept saying about this team? They don't have spinners. They don't have spinners. Are you only going in with Karan Sharma? Again, a Karan Sharma who, in the latter stages of his career, not the same force he was maybe 6-7 years back. Would it have worked? No, of course it didn't work. And today you're fielding a playing 11 where Will Jacks is your first choice and only spinner. Dear God, that is just bad planning. It's terrible planning. It's terrible planning to release a Yuzvendra Chahal and then bring in a Wanindu Hasaranga in place of him. And then also release Wanindu Hasaranga for no good reason. I don't get it. I just don't understand the thinking. It hurts my head.
Okay, two more things. We've discussed enough of RCB and what their management should do, and we really feel for the fans. And that's why, such a long, lengthy discussion on that, because, you really need to look for answer, what's ailing them. And a lot of those things are so obvious. You and I, all of us see it all the time. And I'm sure some of the people there also see it. Yet they don't try and fix it. But two other big questions that we need to address, because there are plenty of things that have happened in the match, and those two big okay, before that you want to show us the memes. Okay, Shivam, our producer, wants us to show. I know it's going to be a meme fest. If you are a RCB fan, look away now.
Please.
Please do. But this will be, you'll pick up social media.
Yeah.
And they themselves are to be blamed. We'll quickly go through them before we answer the two other big questions. So this one is from Bhumika. She says, RCB bowlers, kuch to sharam karo, janab kuch. This is from a film, right?
Yeah, this is Jolly LLB 2.
Yeah. Got a dialogue that they... this is from Indian Memes and Tweets, says...
RCB condition now, and quoting a very famous line from the movie Hangama.
From Hangama, yeah.
Koi mandir ka ghanta hai.
Koi bhi aake baja jata hai.
And funny part, by the way, talking about koi bhi aake baja jata hai, the next game is against KKR, and the game after that is against SRH. So good luck.
Okay. Travis Head when he sees the blue jersey. Atta Maji Sataki. That is true. Why did they have to change the color to blue? That is true. It does happen. Travis Head, boss. I mean, what a knock today. I mean, if you're an Indian fan,
turn away.
He's somebody we just don't want to see.
Yeah.
Quickly, we'll take a few more before we get into. This is Kolkata Knight Riders.
And I see this is very
funny. My God.
They're like 277. Be like, mujhe kyun toda? Because now the second highest record is no longer theirs.
Oh, nice one. Good on KKR. Social media game.
They've upped it this year a lot. Previously they were more on the cringe side. Now they're actually getting funny.
Okay. Their record got broken. Didn't last too long.
So story of RCB fans every year.
This comes from Ye Jawani Hai Diwani.
जितना भी try कर लो बनी.
repeat करना पड़ता.
I go back to what Faf du Plessis said in 2022.
इस साल कप नहीं.
Okay. Any more? पहले मुंबई फिर चेन्नई और अब चिन्नास्वामी को भी बिल्कुल चुप करा दिया. अच्छा, this is bad comments.
And this is, by the way, a man who very recently was going on Instagram stories, was asked by someone, what's your favorite memory in India? Just posted a win of the World Cup final. Cheeky man.
Yeah, but he deserves to.
Of course, I don't take anything away from him.
जब bowlers नहीं थे तो हमारे सामने आए ही क्यों?
And you've shown
this is not a great fan.
Abhishek,
this is
Travis Head and Mr. Carlson.
अच्छा, this is good. विराट कोहली asking me umpires तुम दोनों में से कोई अच्छी bowling करता है?
Oh, good.
This is a good one.
That's a good one.
Any more?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
God.
Okay, I know it's going to be a meme. It's just getting started. I mean, just a few minutes after the game has gotten done. Imagine by the morning.
Will be
what-
bad.
Okay. Two big questions. Let's first talk about Sunrisers Hyderabad. They've been outstanding. Imagine for a team that have notched up the two highest scores in the history of T20 franchise cricket in a matter of few weeks, back to back. Some serious batting, the likes that we've rarely seen in the IPL. One of the best assembled batting team and in form is what they're showing at the moment. My question to my fellow panelists is, are they the real deal this season? Are they looking like an IPL winning franchise?
I don't know about IPL winning because their bowling still gives me a little bit of the jitters. But yeah, they look like a top 4 team, which is much better than where SRH have been in the past 2 years. So it's a massive improvement because again, I don't think they're a fully complete side. The bowling is, as I said, a bit of an issue. But man alive, that batting in the right conditions can demolish any team. And it's one thing doing it once. Doing it twice in the same season is a serious indicator that you mean business.
Looking good for a third as well.
Yeah. Again, in Hyderabad, the conditions are similar.
Yeah. They can face the same bowling attack, which saw at a venue which saw 573 runs, if memory serves me right. So good luck to RCB playing SRH. All. By the way, can I say this? I think SRH are what RCB thought they were. Good on batting, weak on the bowling. They're just RCB right now. Or are the
RCB done right?
But I guess their bowling doesn't look that bad on paper, to be honest.
Whose?
SRH's. They've got a Cummins, they've got a Bhuvaneshwar. I know Bhuvaneshwar not the same Bhuvaneshwar anymore. T. Natarajan has been showing good form. I don't think they look that bad.
No,
and my Markandeya today, was rather
That's
good.
what So RCB thought that again we're a
RCB
batting
bowling never looked
batting
even
heavy
like
side.
this good on paper.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they always thought, that we're a batting heavy side with a manageable or a half decent bowling. That's what SRH are right now. It's just that they don't have the big names. They're performing like big names.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there is one more record also. Today RCB is the only team who scored 250 plus score while chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That may have been a record.
Yeah.
Not. How much did Mumbai chase
Mumbai
that day?
lost
They
by-
didn't lose by a big margin too.
Either, yeah.
Yeah.
But they ended up getting.
But this record is
230.
there'll be so many. I can just think of another record. It'll be like the highest score by a team to lose a match.
Lose a match.
Yeah, they could.
The highest aggregate total in a match. Again, that record got set a couple of weeks back. Again, it's been
246.
Yeah, is what Mumbai got. Coming back to the point, Harshit, you haven't answered. They may look like RCB. What is the question I asked you? Are they looking
at
like
the
a real
moment,
team?
the way they're playing, if they can sustain this, not title winning, I'd say, because the bowling is really weak, and there will be those couple of days that the batters will not get such kind of form, such kind of conditions, or such a meek bowling attack. So not a title winning side, but if they can bat the way that they are, surely a playoff finish is something that they can now very clearly set their eyes on.
Are they making the playoffs? You have to say yes, no.
I don't.
If you had to pick,
Yes, actually, because two of the teams, you know why? Because two of the teams that I had picked currently are not looking in that great nick. GT and MI. Neither of them. So yeah, I think SRH do have a chance.
I'm also a little circumspect about those two teams only because I have both of them in my
who
top
you
4.
go with now? Are you going with SRH or you'll say?
I would back them to get into the third or the fourth slot, not top 2 maybe. Third or the
I'm
fourth.
talking about top 4.
Yeah, top 4. Yeah.
Looks like it.
See, for title winning, I'm not putting them as my contender because I can clearly see 3 teams which are looking much better than them.
And complete.
I'm not looking at the points table or anything. Clearly, Rajasthan and Chennai Super Kings, Kolkata looking much more complete than Sunrisers Hyderabad. Sunrisers Hyderabad is that team that is grabbing the headlines, all right, because of those big totals, but well-rounded teams. So at least I'm not even putting him in the top 3 favorites for a title. Now, top 4. They could be the 4th team, but I am still not giving up hope on a few teams, and I think that they will compete, and it's going to be not easy for Sunrisers Hyderabad. There is a Sunrisers Hyderabad, there's a Lucknow Super Giants, there's a Gujarat Titans, and I'm not counting Mumbai Indians out. So there are these 4 teams that are going to be vying for that 4th spot. provided one between Kolkata or Chennai or Rajasthan don't have a horrendous season going from here.
Yeah.
But at least there are so many teams. So I mean, that's decent enough competition going forward. There's just about 2 points separating all of them. 2 or 4 at best. So if I had to pick Sunrisers top 4, I'd say there's more chances of them not making it than making it. I'm going with that.
No, it's fair because again, right now it's still very early days.
Yeah.
You're just about halfway through the tournament. So, see, you can pick your favorites, but for sure, calling it on any side, I think it's a 50-50 call, either which way.
Okay, now to the other big question. DK, Dinesh Karthik, commentator turned player, player turned commentator, whatever you want to say.
Player and commentator.
But the fact of the matter is, he is smoking it.
World Cup going.
He is smoking it. Rohit Sharma, that day was a joke, but who knows, Rohit Sharma is the captain. Right, he will have a say. And he's really smoking it. He's the only one, by the way, might I add, who's batting in the position where the wicketkeeper will have to bat, by the way.
And batting well.
The other contenders in Pant as well as Sanju Samson.
Jitesh
or
is
whoever
the only
you're
other
going
one.
with Jitesh or whatever, but Jitesh not been informed. So whoever, or Ishan Kishan also, if you look at it, anyone you look at, all of them are not batting in position. He's the only one. The only other one who's batting in position is Jitesh, but he's not been informed.
Correct.
This is the only guy who's got both tick marks. In form and batting
Position.
there. And might I add, you kept saying that this is his last IPL. He has now clarified that don't say that it's fine. So how, the backstory of how that happened, right? He in confidence had told Nasir Hussain that this will be his last IPL. How? Because they work in Sky together. And Nasir Hussain thought that this is common knowledge and said it in one of the broadcasts. As soon as he said it, media picked it up and carried it. So Dinesh Karthik that day clarified that he himself has not said that this is his last time. It very well may be.
What this reminds you of? Sorry, I can't control my laughter right now. But this reminds me of a South African being told something like that from an Indian. Also plays for RCB and then had to take a statement back.
Oh yeah.
Well,
but it was true.
But that was still a personal matter.
The retirement's as personal.
No. This is an Indian cricket matter, boss. We are discussing. Who makes it to the team is an Indian cricket matter. So right now, why I gave you the backstory is because in that sense, Dinesh Karthik has kept that in his head. Maybe he did think that this is the last IPL I'm playing. And by the way, which very well could be his last IPL. That does not in any way relate to that he's given up hope of not being in on the flight to that. If he even makes it there, this could still be his last IPL. Even if he doesn't make it there, this could still be his last IPL. Either way, has he kept that door open? And if he has, Rohit Sharma saying, while he said it in
good humor,
jest and good humor, whatever, I mean, he's the captain. The captain and the man in form share a great relationship. And if you're looking at, because for everyone else you're looking at form, right? I'm not looking at form for him. If Virat and Rohit are also going, which is pretty much certain.
The same 2022 squad.
रोहित शर्मा की मजाक को सीरियसली नहीं ली.
नहीं, उससे पहले ही रन बना चुका था.
If actually DK comes back, it's the same 11 you're fielding.
Okay,
then.
no, it's not a joking matter. I'm asking, if you're a selector, what are you doing?
No, we tried it once in 2022. Respectfully, it didn't work.
But you tried a lot of things in 2021, 2022, which you're going to be trying again.
I didn't want those things, right? So I'm sticking by this.
So I'm saying by that logic, if those things that you tried 2021, 2022, and you're going to be trying, Dinesh Karthik is like, मैंने क्या गलत किया यार?
But yeah, I
Try
agree.
me also. I'm scoring runs. If that's the criteria.
And the strike rate issues are there.
I just think as selector, I think I'm going to selectively and intentionally ignore his numbers because I don't want problems. I don't want to be accused of making the same error again.
Correct.
It is done. And on top of that, it's been reported that he'd set his mind on retirement and all that, keeping everything into account.
IPL.
No, I will, as selector, call me biased or whatever it is, I will ignore. I can't say it publicly, but that's what I'd want to do. Just don't look at his numbers.
Just that you're saying it publicly.
I'm just saying it publicly because I am.
And also,
I can't say it publicly, but I am saying it.
Selector.
To myself.
And also-
4 people, 3 selector, andar andar ki baat.
We're talking about players being ignored on form. Yuzi Chahal is nowhere in contention. So if you can ignore Yuzi, you can ignore DK too. It's quite alright.
Makes the point.
Yeah, just turn a blind eye.
तो बाकी
Yeah.
कोई कंट्री तो ऐसा नहीं करती. सेन वॉटसन को तो नहीं खिलाया था उन्होंने जब CSK के लिए उसने 200 तक मारा.
Okay, I think I think you're right. I mean, while this is a wow performance
Yeah.
from Dinesh Karthik, absolutely it is. But I guess you have to turn a page. You have to move forward. You'll have to go with a wicketkeeper that you have been or has been in your radar. Go with whoever you want. But I think this ship has sailed.
Yeah.
The DK. But might I add, it did provide us with a lot of entertainment today. For that, thank you, DK,
Yes.
for the entertainment that he provided.
Oh, that was
fine,
fireworks.
clean.
Absolutely.
Entertain us at the World Cup, maybe as a commentator, but that's it.
That he will.
Sure.
I'm sure, 100% sure. If he's not playing, he's definitely going to be a commentator.
I mean, and he's done
If
a.
your broadcasters don't take him, English broadcasters definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's
They
done a
love
very
him. They
fine
love him
job
for calling a spade anyway.
Commentator.
And his shirts are a big hit there.
with the wacky shirts.
Oh yeah, he's famous in the UK for his
Those half sleeves.
half
Half
sleeves,
sleeves, all the Hawaiian shirts.
Hawaiian shirts.
Mad.
Yes, he's become super duper. Okay, let's take a few questions, sir.
That'll be more than few.
Can you tell me? That, no.
Nah, that'll be it.
Yeah, you can take it. What is this?
But
This is
the handle.
Yeah, it's okay. Whoever is. So this is Netflix India has also joined into the IPL party, huh? And this.
You gotta hit
is-
them trends, no?
This is the trends that they've got. Yeah, because
Look at the topmost trend right.
this is the day that you needed Siddharth. You were given the full history about this scene,
Oh yeah.
shot, and everything. What was his name?
Kachra.
No, not.
This is the one who did that hand thing also. No, he used to bowl. He's a fast bowler who would.
No, but he wasn't the one who would go
Yes.
round and round at the mark. No. He would just come with his arm like that.
Correct. I'm like that.
Yeah.
Run like that.
Yeah. That was the other one. Just forgetting his name.
Goalie.
Goalie.
Goalie, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, everyone's
be.
joining into
Swal.
Dinesh Karthik in World Cup here. But by the way, credit to Lagana, much before these paddle
Switch hits
shots
and everything.
came, ramp shots and all of that.
I knew it was possible.
But the vision of the director at that time to have come up with those paddle shots and all of that. Yeah. Lovely. Netflix also, in the cricket mood, they had the Rohit Sharma thing and Kapil Sharma. It was a terrible episode.
You saw?
Yeah.
Whole of it.
I only saw because cricketers were there. Shreyas Iyer and Rohit Sharma. Terrible episode.
I had no interest in watching it even then, and then hearing the reviews, I was like, oh, good.
No.
Didn't.
So, Diljit wala.
No. Diljit also was, I've seen it. Not great episode. Now, in comparison, the first episode was better than the
Which was the Kapoor
Ranbir
family.
Kapoor, was better. Also, not the best. but
Ironically,
much
that
better.
was panned as being a season opener. Then the other 2 episodes came and people were like, that was better.
Exactly, he's right. He is right. Free publicity to Netflix. You can thank us by sending us a super chat.
We'll send you our UPI QR code.
Chalo. Daler Singh from Canada.
Says there should be something done for the bowlers. Maybe use a duke ball for more swing and seam. Besides, maybe 5-10 bowlers, nobody looks good in this IPL.
But he also is making a point. It is apart from the bowling today or whatever. The fact of the matter is that bowlers are being left like lambs to slaughter. Something. Really
This
needs
is
to
not
be
good
done.
cricket.
Yeah,
It's not a good advertisement for the sport.
I agree with you. Something needs to be done. Something really needs to be done.
I felt about that at the halfway stage for the RCB bowlers. Imagine now there's another 7 bowlers that you add to it. And not both teams can be that atrocious, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, memes aside and all of that.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean.
Who would, as a youngster, go ahead and want to be an all-rounder or a bowler? Forget being a spinner in these conditions then.
I've seen a few things that they've done and which is like an immediate fix that they can do straight from next season. I mean, like what Daler is saying is still slightly, nuanced. It'll take time for you to take a decision of Duke's ball and so on and so forth. I think the few basic things that they can do is one, increase the boundary size, because all these grounds are much bigger, but they bring the boundary ropes really further inside to ensure that the grounds are very small. Change that. Let's see, spinners try and flight the ball, and you as a batter try and clean it. If you hit 100-meter sixes, great, but let not 65-meter be a six also.
This is a bit insulting.
Yeah. So the grounds are big enough.
Yeah.
Just that you bring the ropes in, do away with all that. Firstly, increase that. That's a basic fix, right? You can do that. That's one. And second, don't prepare absolute pelters of the pitches. Give something to the bowlers. Leave a bit of grass for the fast bowlers. Let there be a bit of turn for spinners. All of that can be managed if you prepare the pitches like that. So at least these two things, just as you do during Test matches,
Exactly,
and
like
ODI World Cups.
Yes,
you
the
do it
word
for-
that we use during Test match cricket a lot. Spotting wicket,
Pitches.
even contest. This is neither.
And in some cases, you know what, I'm okay. Like, I genuinely miss one thing about IPL about 10 odd years back, is that you'd have a few places where you'd be very spin reliant.
Yeah.
Chepauk, Eden Gardens.
Eden Gardens,
So
Firoz Shah
let it be
Kotla.
that way. Let it be that way.
Yeah.
Then you're giving squad options as well, because then otherwise you'll have spinners who will not be playing.
Yeah.
You want to have squad options too. And then when you go away, there's a contrast. Right now, you could blindfold someone and tell them to pick out the Chinnaswamy wicket or the Wankhede wicket, and they'll be like, it's the same wicket.
Same wicket.
There is no difference.
Correct.
Mahesh is saying that the fast bowling quality of Indian players in IPL is poor. It's not the best league. 150 strike rate is low, but 12 run rate is okay. 290 would have been chased down if not for Cummins.
Valid point. I think it's just an extension of the earlier answer that we gave, that you really need to find a fix.
And Rakesh Bhushan, another extension of the point, says wide bats, thick edges, heavy bat weight, smaller boundaries, impact sub, and as a result, you get an uneven contest between bat and ball. New rule should be drafted to favor bowlers, reducing the 4-over restriction, both ends 2 balls to make an even contest.
One thing that they've done is allowed 2 short pitch deliveries to
Which
be
is
bowled,
great.
Which is
which
good.
is very good.
Yes.
Which is the other good thing that they've done, is that wide. If you moved as a batter is moved, no more wides. Those are 2 good additions.
Yeah.
I agree. But the other point that he makes, we said 2 easy fix, like sporting pitches, bigger boundaries, and maybe that impact rule also needs to go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Absolutely does.
terrible.
Absolutely does.
Just get this done with, remove these things, and you will get a lot of parity back. I'm still not saying it's going to be 100%, but at least the way
It'll be
it's
an even
skewed
fight.
in one favor, which is batter's favor, I think that you can bring that balance back to an extent, and that really needs to be done. Manchester Rising.
In any sport, he says that it's culture and weight of historical success or failures that defines sporting teams. RCB needs a fresh squad or management who's a serial T20 winner.
No, he's right. I mean, even if, sometimes you'll get teams that are always historically supported, but they are defined by that. I think Tottenham Hotspur are one club who have been defined as, and I'm sorry to say this, but serial bottle jumps. They'll come close to winning trophies, then not win the trophy. They won year 2012.
No, but one of the reasons why they stay relevant, I would say, again, they did win something in 2008-9, one of those years, and they're also winners of the Europa League once. Again, it happened a long time back, but there is something to show for. I'm saying it doesn't count for a lot. I'm saying it's already, when you're closing in on 2 decades of the of the Indian Premier League. If it continues this way, minus a Virat in a few years, if the franchise doesn't have anything, they look doomed.
See, I mean, I'll give another example. We're talking so much about Leverkusen, Bayer Leverkusen, who won the Bundesliga. They were nicknamed Bayer Neverkusen at one point because they had the reputation of being always the bridesmaids. 1 year, by the way, the 2000-2001 season, they finished second in all 3 trophies. They finished second in the Bundesliga. They lost the final of the DFB Pokal. They also lost the final of the Champions League. And then 1 year later, their captain at that point, Michael Ballack, ended up finishing second in the FIFA World Cup. So it defines teams. Neverkusen was a tag that really stuck until they could go on to do what they did. So he's right. The cultural weight, the culture and weight of historical success and failures will define a team.
Yeah.
And RCB have a good fan base. But is that fan base going to sustain if there's going to be no tangible
No
sign
trophies,
of success?
no Virat Kohli in a few years, imagine. And there's no Indian players that you associate with the franchise. That none of them are part of the core right now.
I mean, there's DK, but even he'll be gone. So
Yeah.
Pronit Datta makes exactly that point. He says if you don't back Indian players, then your franchise will never grow except for Virat. Which Indian batter have they backed? KL, UZ, they've got all thrown out.
Ah, correct.
They're backing, but they're backing an Anuj Rawat though, I've seen.
Next big thing?
Well, I'm just saying that they're backing him. I don't know for how long.
I mean, nothing
I don't know
beats-
if he's actually on his way out because from the playing 11, he's now been reduced to an impact sub. So
And then out of the squad.
yeah, धीरे से दरवाजा, as they say.
We actually with RCB, you don't know how suddenly things will change. But you're right, you have to build on that talent. Faces. Also, I don't know why franchises don't do that. Local talent, yeah, come on. It is a franchise from a city, you need to bring in local talent, which
Correct.
a lot of franchises aren't doing. Sad.
Shubham says, I don't know, but imagine if RCB wins the IPL once Virat leaves the team. Nothing against him, but then imagine the power of that Totka. I mean, it's like the Harry Kane curse all over again, isn't it? He doesn't win a trophy for years, joins one club where he's guaranteed to win at least one trophy, and then they don't win the trophy. We'll call it the Virat Kohli curse in Indian cricket circles. Also adds the point saying, and Shane Russell is a better bowler than RCB bowlers. At least he gets wickets.
At
He's
least
not
this
wrong.
season, yes.
Oh, even last year he was getting you a few wickets, but
Okay.
now this year, yeah.
Very
he's-
good with the cutter.
No,
also.
he'll bowl 4 balls. One will be hit for a 6, one for a 4, one or 2 and a wicket. There's no in between with him. He's a more expensive Shardul at this point, but I'll take it. You need a wicket taker.
No, you will take him because of his batting as well. You will take him.
Yeah.
I'll take Russell because of his Superman fielding, then of course the batting. Oh my god, the batting.
Shaurya Nanda says, really missed Siddharth's RCB rant on panel today. I know we missed him, but I pointed it out at the start of the show. He's not come because you guys are giving him a lot of hate. So please send in some love for Siddharth in the comment section once the video is done. And then if he likes them enough, he has promised to come back. Okay? So show us some love. You're all part of our large Sports Today family.
Otherwise, I don't think he's in for another couple of days.
No, he said he'll come tomorrow if
Has he?
if you show some love towards
Okay.
him. Okay? So do it, please.
In some cases, self-love always isn't enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Karthik K says that it's shocking that other Indian players, except for Sky, have not reinvented themselves to stay relevant in T20s like what a DK has done with his, power hitting and his switch hitting. They'll only be hitting classical shots, and after a point, that's just not intimidating.
Do you know, Karthik, I mean, I had done a piece, I remember that, and this was during the T20 World Cup in 2022, because I was in Australia traveling, covering most teams. And I had done a piece from Australia about India's practice, where I did point out that when you see India practice, though, the Indian batters come, they mostly do the conventional stuff.
Yeah.
Barring a player or two, maybe Sky is slightly different than he was. Most would do the conventional batting stuff. So, I cover test matches, ODIs, T20. I didn't see a big difference in the way batsmen were practicing and getting ready for those T20 matches. Your practice was same. And where is it they're going to experiment all these during practice sessions, right? They want. Whereas you would see a lot of other teams trying and experimenting, a switch hit here and there, how to play a spinner when they're getting ready to face Indian team. If they have a leggy, how to counter that with various different things. They would do it. And I did feel that yes, this thing of how T20 batting has evolved needs to be executed a lot more in practice session. That wasn't happening, which told me that you're still kind of stuck in a time warp where you're happy just playing conventional cricket, which is fine. Trust your basic methods, but once in a while to upset the bowler and his rhythm, you'd have to do it, and you'd expect every batter to know.
My only question being, I think, and this is where it's difficult being an all format player. See, those who specialists, you can expect them to, like Surya Kumar Yadav, specialist T20 player, you can expect him to innovate as much as he can. But let somebody like a Virat, somebody like a Shubman Gill, what were we accusing Shubman Gill of at the start of the series? Hard hands. Why? Because you're playing too much T20 cricket. Again, it becomes very difficult if you're an all format player to be as innovative, because at the end of the day, you're programmed a certain way. And to be that player,
how you will be counted, no? As a
which is why I think probably
See,
it's
for
a far-fetched
example-
reality to expect players to be reprogramming themselves
But look
after
at
every
Travis
few
said,
weeks.
No, yaar, he's playing everything.
But he was struggling prior to
he's-
coming in the end.
Form is another thing, but
Yeah.
I'm saying in terms of experimentation or the kind of shots that he has to play, if you have to be successful, you'll have to do it. you have various scenarios where batters then, I mean, I'll go back. Kevin Peterson was an all-format player. Yeah, he was a gun Test player and a gun ODI player and a gun T20 player also. He figured out those things. I'm not saying everyone has to be like that and everyone has to play it at that consistency all the time, but those should be in your armory to upset the bowler. It should be. They should not 100% know that these are the 3 things that you will do. Always surprise them. Some will do it more often, some may do it less.
I'm just saying, maybe that's the limitation.
Sure.
That's the limitation.
Sure.
And see, it's one thing, like I've seen with a lot of players, they can be limited in what they do in the net. So, for instance, an example is a Russell. If you ever see any videos of him in the nets, he's more often than not doing one thing, he's practicing his power hitting.
Yeah.
But my point is that is a skill set that is perfectly suited to this particular format. He's a power hitter, he is working on his power hitting. Fair. But if you are someone who's a classical batsman and maybe needs to try and do that, or try and maybe bring in a couple of tweaks for this particular format, yeah, then you need to be practicing that. Where else are you going to try it in a match situation? No. If you are someone who's not comfortable sweeping, say in the case like with Virat, we'd say that he's not always comfortable sweeping. Is he going to be trying that out in the match directly? No, he'll try it out in the nets. And in the nets, we have heard tales of him, employing the sweep shot on occasion. That's what you need to be doing. He's right. And DK was someone who really had to work and retool his game along with Abhishek Nair. He really had to retool his game to be remodel himself as a finisher. But he did it, and that too at a very late stage of his career. So it's not impossible.
Okay, Divyang says whatever team is selected, Rohit Sharma and Ajit will get flagged from one or the other section of fans and media. Plus, impact rule should be scrapped unless we use it in T20. As the second bit, though, we all agree. And even the first bit, see again, it's a tough job being the captain of the Indian team. It's a very, very tough job to be the selector as well. In fact, selectors even tougher because no matter who you pick, the debate is why is this guy not picked, why is that guy not picked. At the end of the day, nobody looks into the fact that at the end of the day only 15 can be selected. But whoever is not picked, why is this one not picked, why is that one not picked, nobody will ever come out and tell us instead of whom will you have picked that. But yeah, why is this not picked, and the outrage will happen. Yeah, I know it's a thankless job, but then it's a high profile job. So
you're paid the big bucks for a reason, right? And now you are legitimately paid the big bucks.
Comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Asterisks.
Pranit Datta says, I hope Patidar is back now. He could be an asset. He's kind of shown some form now.
Which is good
after a disastrous few months.
Which is good because I remember him being a very key part of RCB making it to the playoffs in 2022.
Right.
They made it to qualifier 2 as well because they beat LSG.
He scored that century.
Yeah, he scored a century. So there is a good batter there. And actually it's good because really one of the problems with RCB forever has been their Indian talent. So I do feel also a little bit for the likes of a Vishak and all who are not quite able to make that impact because truth be told they need to be kind of kept. But again,
even then he's not any young. So does he fit into the plans going forward?
30 is still fine, yeah. In today's day and age, as a batter, as a specialist batter, you can play another 6-7 years comfortable.
Okay, gonna quickly take a few more comments. Sai Srivastav says the problem with RCB is not having a good captain. To be honest, Virat is a senior franchise player by now, should have built a team. If you're backed as a player for so long, it's the bare minimum expected.
I mean, that is something that a lot of people have said when it comes to captains, is that they will more often than not in the IPL sort of circumstance play an active role in team building. I know Gautam Gambhir would at times go to war with the franchise asking for certain players. We've heard how much a sway a Dhoni's say has when it comes to auctions as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think sometimes you need to be a strong personality. It's not just a case of, okay.
Yeah. Okay, Akshat says now we know why RCB almost went all out for Pat Cummins in the auction. Yeah, I think it's a very valid point. Then GGK says, Nikhil, we don't have quality all-rounders except Jadeja and about a half-fit Hardik. And he goes on to say, because I've lost it.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Please scroll down. GGK, scroll down. There.
Yeah, there it is.
BCCI should lobby for impact rule in T20s so that we can play an extra batter or bowler. Yeah, GGK, that's the other way. Either scrap it or ensure it.
Or insurance in international cricket.
Okay, Rakesh Bhushan says, dear Nikhil, you said that Indians should try reverse sweep, scoop, etc. Please tell me how many Indian players are good in conventional sweeping and pulling, leave aside doing in the reverse way. You're right. And
that's also something that they need to practice.
Which is the reason why they need to practice to be able to hone those shots, hone those skills.
Even conventional sweep and pull, you're right, Rakesh. They need to work on that.
I remember when Rohit Sharma, deployed the sweep shot in the Test series. He had done so after 7 years. 7 years.
And in fact, it's not just him. See, another example of talking about players working on their skills. We talk a lot about, Heinrich Klaassen. But he wasn't the same player of spin a few years back. Neither was a David Miller. They worked on those skills. David Miller was a bunny against spin.
Yeah.
Klaassen was not, I wouldn't say a bunny, but he did struggle.
Yeah,
so he had to really work.
I was reading a piece of his in which he talked about how what he is reaping right now with the bat is a result of the kind of practice he's been doing with Albie Mokal for the last 2 years. And he talks about his net sessions over there where he says that, the idea was to actually keep things simple. I wasn't over trying and I wasn't spending a lot of time also. It was all down to 1 hour sessions every day. But that's been happening for the last 2 years, of which he's now reaping benefits.
Okay, Gajinder Singh Rathore says, तुम तीनों में से एक भी खेल सकता है क्या? Since he's not specified खेल सकते हैं, मैं तो बहुत अच्छा गुल्ली डंडा खेलता हूँ. Shane is a champion in PlayStation and Harshit is a national champion in Kho-Kho. तो हम तीनों खेल सकते हैं. You didn't say क्या खेल सकते हैं, so I answered that. Okay, let's go down. नहीं नीचे शिवम चलें, बहुत सारे question. I have to quickly take all of that.
I'm a good Ludo player.
Shivam says
Shivam
he's
is a very good Ludo player. Okay, very good.
And Siddharth's very good at chess.
Okay, great. Fit Monk says, quite surprising, Cummins is not Australian T20 captain.
It's not that surprising, truth be told, because prior to this IPL, he'd never had a good run in T20s. I can attest to that. It's not me being a jilted ex.
Okay, quickly, down. Shivam, please. Hurry up. Okay, Mayank Madan says, we talk so much of strike rate and DK has the best strike rate from the 2022 World Cup squad currently.
He makes a good point, but yeah.
Okay, बस नहीं बहुत थे ऊपर चले गए. Okay, just leave it. Derek Underwood, yes, absolutely a legend. He's passed away today. So we should have done something, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a video on that.
Arguably the greatest ever spinner?
Yeah,
Derek
you could say
Underwood.
that. Yep. Okay, GGK says Parthiv Patel has said it in the past. At RCB, 2-3 star players are treated differently. Domestic players are not back. They keep quiet because of money.
It's quite
So this is then again goes back to that culture that we discussed.
Also,
right?
I mean, he's mentioned Parthiv Patel. I remember Parthiv Patel, mentioning that story, and it's a very classical one at this point about Bumrah.
Yeah.
Kohli's response कि यार ये बुमराह शुमराह क्या करेंगे?
But I'm saying Shane, that is okay.
Unknown.
Guys,
You
I'm
can
sure
say
it
again,
happens.
and it
But
wasn't quite.
disdainful.
Yeah, but maybe it's come across like that.
Yeah. It would have been just one of those things that you say in jest, not intending any
No malice
anything
there.
hurtful, no malice, no sort of disrespect to anyone.
Okay, final comment. We're going to take Priyanshu's comment. He says, Shane, yaar, please, theek hai, you got your prediction right, but dance to karno.
अरे चलो ठीक है. Tell you what, tomorrow if KKR beat RCB, it's
Shane said it.
So that's all for tonight, folks. We're leaving early because Harshit has promised to treat us to a late night dinner. It's his debut on India Today, TV Today. He debuted at the 11 o'clock bulletin. So he's promised us loads of food and desserts, whatever we want to order now. That's why we are. And so please send your congratulations to Harshit as well. Right in the comments alongside some nice, lovely messages for Siddharth.
For Siddharth, yeah, don't forget
So
that.
do that. Okay. On that note, thank you guys. Take care. If you also are feeling hungry this late at night, I usually do. If like Harshit is treating today, so it's okay. Usually I get home and then the fridge is like always calling me, and I have to rush to the
Happens,
fridge.
yeah.
Happens.
Yeah,
Right? And you just take out whatever is there, junk or whatever.
the fridge and the cupboards in the kitchen.
Yeah,
The most
just-
enticing thing.
Yeah, they call you. And so if it happens with you as well, IPL season tends to happen.
I used to came up with a trick for that, and I stopped storing snacks. Then you got 10-minute delivery options, kind of ruined that premise as well.
Yeah.
It's just right there.
Okay. By the way, Abhishek has already sent you congrats, Harshit.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Say
Thanks
to
a lot.
Abhishek.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
humbled,
much.
humbled.
Take care. Bye bye. Couldn't take all your questions. Tomorrow is another day. I will do it.
Yeah.
A big game tomorrow. Table toppers clash.
Yeah. Wow.
Tomorrow's 1 versus 2. Or today,
versus 2.
today
So
we should
if you
say.
want Siddharth to be back for it, please send some lovely messages.
Yeah.
Good night. Bye bye. Take care. Vanakkam. Nandri. Shabba khair.
Shivratri. Eat your vegetables and well.
Don't trouble your mom.
And a Sala Cup.
A Sala Cup.
Nahi.
Bye.
Bye.